Welcome to TalkFCB and welcome back here to the channel, guys. And today, the day before a game, usually I'd be coming here with a match preview, and believe me, I would love to be in that position to be able to do that and to be able really to celebrate the end of season feel, but I just didn't really think that'd be right today. To be fair, our game tomorrow at home against Getafe, it didn't really mean anything anyway. It was a meaningless game. We'd already wrapped up the title, and even more so now, there's very, very little, if any at all, importance attached to it. So what I thought we'd do was give you some news again that's breaking. That's the most important thing right now, to see what direction we're going in, to see what changes we're going to see. And I've also got a few videos planned where I'm going to be looking at what Barcelona could look like next season, but the important thing before that is to give you all the news, look at where we're going, and that's what we're going to be doing today. And we'll bring you at the end of this video some news also from Valverde's press conference, which took place just a few minutes ago, and I'm going to be giving you some quotes from that to see what we make of it. But before that thrilling experience takes place, let's get on with some news. And the first thing that I want to bring you guys is regard to our left-back position and the left-back situation at Barcelona, because all the way throughout the season so far, all we've had is Jordi Alba. Valverde has put no trust in Miranda, and right throughout the season, we've been really struggling for a left-back. So come the summer, we all knew that we'd be acting in that, either bringing somebody in or using Cucurella. But if we do that, we have to fully trust in him, because we cannot go another season with just one left-back, with just Jordi Alba in that role. And it was very interesting, actually, because Alba, of course, was one of those players against Liverpool who did make a number of mistakes. He was the reason, to be honest, that a lot of the goals started, a lot of the moves started, and it was down to him. But obviously, in general, he has had a very good season. But MD came up with an interesting story that basically said there has been a change of plans within the club with regard to that left-back role. Originally, the club wanted to go out this summer, and they basically wanted to sign a backup for Jordi Alba, who'd play some of the games, very little minutes, and basically in a rotational role. Now, though, that plan has changed. Right now, the club is seriously considering bringing somebody in who can not only play instead of Alba, but can really challenge him for that first team place, with some serious competitive nature going on there. And right on cue here, I'm going to take you to Portugal, because I know a lot of us at this point are going to be saying, who can we bring in as a left back for Jordi Alba, a Barcelona type player, somebody to really push him up and coming in that role? Everybody right now is screaming at the screen, Grimaldo. And I'd take you to Portugal because Abola, a source there in Portugal, they basically say Benfica do not want to sell Grimaldo this summer. They say the Portuguese club have already rejected a €25 million bid from Napoli, and Juventus have also showed an interest in the left back. However, they do go on to say that Benfica would consider selling if offers above €30 million started to arrive, and that is also worth bearing in mind, because there's even more to this story. Also, in the same publication, Abola, combined also with Sport, they suggest that Jasper Cillessen, who, as we know, wants some more first-team football, he wants to play at a club who can play week in, week out, regular minutes, and it says right here in this report that Jasper Cillessen could be on his way to Benfica, and that will make it very, very interesting in negotiations. We know that Jasper Cillessen is a top goalkeeper. We would want top money, but at the same time, if we want Grimaldo, if we want to try and bring him to the Camp Nou, potentially there may be some room for an agreement, and he would be a massive addition. The biggest problem with all that, though, is that the board had previously said any player who leaves Barcelona B who chooses to leave the club will not be brought back. But in these kind of circumstances, we are kind of desperate right now. We do need to get back on track. We do need to get the right players in. Will be interesting to see what happens. I also want to bring you a very interesting story surrounding the agent of Matthijs de Ligt. Of course, somebody who we want to sign this summer. We want to try and wrap up the deal as soon as possible. And there was some big news yesterday surrounding Mino Raiola. And it did at first bring out some panic. It did at first surround some very worrying news when it first came out, because FIFA had announced they'd banned the super agent Raiola from all football activity for 3 whole months, which will now see him unable to operate in his own right the way through August until about mid-August, very close there to the end of the summer transfer window. Now, of course, De Ligt, like I say, is under Raiola's control. That is his agent, and he's also an agent who, I've said before, Barcelona do not like dealing with, and perhaps now, to be honest, we might not have to deal with him absolutely directly, because it has been reported in the Spanish media that this action upon Raiola will not affect the De Ligt deal. Apparently, we can still go and sign him, we can negotiate, we can get the deal done, mainly because intermediaries will still be able to act on Raiola's behalf when it comes to his clients, and most importantly, when it comes to Matthijs de Ligt. So that shouldn't really affect us in any way, and according to all the local media in Barcelona, right now, with regard to De Ligt, we're trying to accelerate it. We're trying to get the deal done. The season in Holland, the Eredivisie, finishes next Wednesday, and after that that time, we could expect some concrete news on De Ligt's destination. And actually, we're not quite done there when it comes to Ajax. We've already acquired Frenkie de Jong. We're certainly on a very, very close path there to signing Matthijs de Ligt, and we might not be done there either. I'm not going to be talking about the coach right now, but another Ajax Amsterdam player, Mundo Deportivo, say that Barcelona have been observing Ajax midfielder Donny van de Beek. And I have to say, that's very exciting for me, simply because of all the Ajax players, he's one of those who's very, very intriguing to me. He maybe doesn't set the world alight, he maybe doesn't, get all the headlines and get all the glory, but I think in that Ajax team this season, right the way through the Champions League, in the big moments, he has certainly come alive. He's certainly been a massive, massive player for them, and he's another player they really won't want to lose. And right now, we are having a big interest in all of these big Ajax players. I don't know if anything will come to this. I don't know exactly where he'd slot in our team. He can play in a number of positions. He can play in midfield. He can play just behind the striker. He can play almost in a false nine position as well if he is required to. He can make those kind of runs. But Donny van de Beek is on Barcelona's radar, but right now, that's as far as it's gone. Also, I want to bring you the latest on Ivan Rakitic. Like I say, obviously caught on camera the day after our loss to Liverpool out in that fair in Seville. That didn't go down well at all with the Barcelona supporters or the Barcelona board. And he's also took to Instagram, not to apologise, not to make any statement about the Liverpool loss at Anfield, but actually to deny that he has an agreement with Inter Milan. He actually came out on Instagram, he posted some words over the report, then he basically said, this is not true. He denied that he had any agreement with Inter, and he actually went on to say that he wants to stay at Barcelona for many, many years to come, and he doesn't have any intention of leaving, which does make it very, very interesting indeed going forward. If the club do want to sell him, is he going to resist? Is he going to try and stay at the club? He reportedly wanted a new deal. I certainly don't see that happening now, but obviously with these kind of players, not just Rakitic, but a lot of senior players at Barcelona right now, if we want to try and move them on, if they reject it, if they don't want to go, they're going to have to accept they're not untouchable. The most important thing for me, moving on to next season, looking ahead, whether it's under Valverde or somebody else, these kind of players cannot be untouchable. If you want to be at Barcelona, you go out on the pitch and you perform. If you perform, you stay in the team. If you don't, you will be replaced in the team. It's as simple as that. None of those players should go out there feeling comfortable in their role to know that if they don't perform, they're still going to be there. It shouldn't be like that. Earn your place every single week. Go out there and show why you're in the team. Show why you should be there, and there won't be any problem. But other than that, you are not going to be intouchable. And those guys who will want to stay, they will want to be here, but they have to accept that, and they fully have to understand that. Another player rumoured with a Barcelona exit is none other than Felipe Coutinho, and according to Cadena Ser, an intermediary, once again, a lot of intermediaries in football right now acting on players' behalf and also on clubs. This particular one has been given the specific role of finding a Premier League club who's willing to pay the money that Barcelona wants for Felipe Coutinho. We do want to get rid of him, according to the media. Coutinho is on the transfer list this summer, but it's all about finding that buyer, finding the amount of money that we want to get back, that big investment that we made. We want to recoup a lot of that fee. Apparently, though, there has been good feedback right now from Chelsea, who of course may lose Eden Hazard this summer. He's coming towards the end of his contract. They may want to sell him this summer, but the biggest stumbling block with that one is Chelsea right now have a transfer ban in place. As of right now, they're unable to sign any players right throughout the summer transfer window. They are going to try to appeal that, very similar to the sort of process that we went through a few seasons back when we had a transfer ban, but Chelsea right now cannot sign any players. If they are able to, though, if that ban perhaps is lifted or anything happens with that, maybe it could be delayed, maybe Coutinho to Chelsea could be an option, but as of right now, we are still looking at all the possibilities. But now, as promised, guys, I will thrill you with the words of Ernesto Valverde. Like I say, we're speaking ahead of our game tomorrow against Getafe at the Camp Nou. Our first game, of course, following that Liverpool defeat. He did say some things. For me, I'm not really that excited by it. I'm certainly not happy by it, because to me, it sounds exactly the same thing. The same thing, week in, week out, season in, season out from Valverde. The same words, empty words, no progression, either from him or from the club. He started off by saying, we've had a very tough week. Tomorrow, we need to show we are here. We want to get playing games again. We want to play in front of the crowd. He said, I have the game in Liverpool still in my head. I'm still thinking about it. We managed to generate chances to score in that game. In the second half, they scored 2 quick goals, which really hurt us. He was then asked if he was going to continue at Barcelona next season, and he went on to say, I'm fine, and I believe that I have the strength to keep going. He was then asked if he had the support of Bartomeu and the Barcelona board. He said, yes, I spoke with Bartomeu after the defeat, and I feel like I'm backed. Bartomeu, after the game, gave me his personal support. He was then asked about the fans tomorrow. How's he going to be received at the Camp Nou? And he said, basically, the fans are free to express themselves however they'd like to, but whenever there is a bump, we are all affected. It has been a good season, blurred only by this 4-0 loss. And he finally went on to say, when he was asked about Rakitic in the picture afterwards, of course, he said, Rakitic is an incredible professional. Yes, he went to a party in Seville the day after, but I spoke with him to discuss this situation. And the final sort of questions that he was asked was basically, would he understand it if the club did go on to sack him? He said, would I understand a dismissal? For now, I have nothing to understand. We will see what happens. Our idea right right now is only to win the Copa del Rey, the final game of the season. That is all we're thinking about. So, like I say, for me there, Valverde, very much the same. Bartomeu seems to be doing the coward thing, waiting for Valverde to resign. He's not really going to make any sudden moves. We're not really talking about players, we're not talking about progression. All that Valverde seems to be thinking about right now is the Copa del Rey final, and that is the big thing for me. After that game, when it all comes down to it, when the players sort of give their opinion, when these murmurs keep on going on, what will happen after that cup final? Will Valverde resign? Will he be sacked? Or, for one more season at least, will we have Ernesto Valverde at the helm of Barcelona? We're going to have to wait and see. I am optimistic for the future. I don't really feel all that comfortable trusting in the likes of Bartomeu to get the job done, to make the right choices. All that we have to do right now as fans is sit back, hope for the best. All we can do right now is try and think positively, because that's all that's going to get us through this. So I hope you did mostly enjoy this video, guys. Obviously, it's not my usual preview video. I haven't missed one for so many games now. I can't actually remember. It must have been about last season, the start of last season, maybe the end of the season before that I actually missed a big preview. But obviously, like I say, the game tomorrow doesn't have all that much importance. But of course, tomorrow we'll be looking at that in a bit more detail and everything else right now that is going on. Thank you, as always, for watching, guys. I really do appreciate you coming back and leaving your thoughts as always. I hope you enjoy the rest of your Saturday and the rest of your weekend. I'll see you tomorrow. But until then, as always, Visca El Barça.